Welcome to Spells and Spirits, where we go deeper into each episode of Wicked City.
Today we're diving into Season 1, Episode 2, On the Other Side.
So we start off right from the beginning with Mona, who died in the last episode, but is she dead? Is she not dead? Because we see her, and it turns out she's on the other side.
Yes, this is where she meets her three guides, one of who is her uncle.
One of the things that we learn about Mona in her time on the other side, speaking to her uncle, is that she has kind of a rough dynamic with her family. And we see a little bit of that. We saw a little bit of that in episode 1, where she got the text message from her brother about going to dinner, and she was like, I wasn't even invited.
Right.
But here we're getting a little bit more that her mother is very religious, and it's not the magic that's the problem. Like, we can tell that that's something that's part of the family. He says that it runs in the family. It's her sexuality.
Yes.
And her being bisexual is a problem for her mom, and one of the reasons that she's kind of been ostracized. And her uncle, Theo Mario, shares that kind of same thing with his sister.
Well, because she ostracized him from the family, also tried to keep Mona away from him. You know, just like, I don't want your influence on her. It's just, it's kind of sad that she had to come to this reality with her uncle on the other side, but it was a good turning point for her.
And one of the things, like, the guides give her 3 of those cryptic warnings.
The white will frighten, but the black will destroy, and the red will burn it all.
The mother's death becomes the child's, and on swift wings, the bill
But they also
comes
give her a very clear direction that they have to work together, all of them. They said the 5 of you, which includes Camille, even though she's not really part of the coven. So there's this element of like, you guys have to work together to fight what's coming.
Right.
And that's something that she says. And even in the end of the episode,
they told me the 5 of us will have to work together and fight what's coming. It's coming for all of
it ends up being the thing that keeps them, like, they're about to fracture. Camille's about to walk out the door. Cerise is like, please leave. And that's the thing that, like, kind of keeps them from just kind of going their own way and being like, all right, now we're in this. So I thought that was, I like the way that
It's a good way that brought them together.
Yes,
It
and I
really
like the
brought
way
them
that all
together.
of it was played, with the guides and everything. We have the coven scrambling to try and bring Mona back. And this is another one of Jordan making a not great magical decision.
Please tell me you're not talking about a resurrection spell.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Wait, she's serious? There's really a spell that can bring people back from the dead?
Unfortunately, yes, and it could be very dangerous.
So I get it. If my best friend died because of me, I would definitely want to be like, okay, I gotta save her. I wanna help her. I wanna do whatever I can. I don't know if resurrection is the best way to go about it.
I mean, we know that it's not. And Charisse
knows that it's not.
Charisse knows that it's not, and Charisse is the one who's telling him. Now, what you said in the previous episode about Charisse knowing the most, we see that here.
Look, my entire Nigerian mother's side of the family has been doing magic since before slavery. And we don't even do death magic. It's forbidden.
She's the one who's the voice of reason. She's the one who's saying, no, this is dangerous. This is forbidden. They're like, forbidden from who? There's an indication here that she knows a little bit more, that she's got this history from her Nigerian side of her family that has more knowledge and more insight into this, that she can give them that guidance, and they're not listening because they are really determined to save Mona.
But it's like she's outvoted. You have the best friend and the girlfriend, and it's like...
And then once Camille jumps in and says we have to try, she's like, oh.
It's like, at this point,
she's like, okay, fine. Let me. Yeah, she's like, at least let me look at the spell, and then they decide to go forward with it. But she is right. Because we get to the very end of the episode and we see a white something climbing in that bed with Mona.
Not so pleasant.
Not so pleasant. Yeah, we see.
I definitely wouldn't want to sleep with that. So.
No, and she, yes. So we finally meet Caden, and what an introduction.
Definitely a battle to pay attention to. And we also learned that Tabitha is a lot stronger than people may have thought she was.
Yes, so we only see a little bit of her magic in episode 1.
Right.
And you get to episode 2 and you got this person busting through the door and not even shaking her.
Yeah.
She's just like, you can see that she is able to withstand it, and then sends Caden through a wall.
Right.
And so it gives a little bit of intrigue, like, okay, Vanessa Bell Calloway, what you packing? Like, let's see what's coming up.
And you've told Jordan you don't know who Caden is, and it's interesting that you have this dynamic with Jordan, but you didn't tell her the truth. And now they're like, no one's like, oh, who's Caden? Everyone's just thinking we still have to find this Caden person, when the whole time Tabitha knows who Caden is.
And not only does Tabitha know Caden, but that picture that Claudette was holding shows that Claudette knew Caden too, and Tabitha, and oh boy.
And somebody is out for revenge.
There is something happening here.
It's not going to be pretty.
No, it's going to get very, very spicy.
Yeah, real spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't miss next week's episode where we find out the consequences of the Coven's resurrection spell.
It's going to be good. Cheers.
Cheers.